The day my mother told me I was the reason our family keeps falling apart, I felt something inside me collapse. Her words weren't new, but that time, they broke me wide open. I didn't know it then, but that was the moment I'd stop surviving for them and start living for myself. My name is Kola, and I remember the moment my whole world cracked like it happened 5 minutes ago. It started in the kitchen, with my mom standing by the counter, gripping her coffee mug like she needed something to crush. She looked at me with that familiar cold stare and said, "You know what, Kola? You're the reason our family keeps falling apart." I felt my throat close. I whispered, "What did I do?" She snapped, "Don't pretend you don't know. You create tension every time you walk into a room." I turned to my dad, hoping he'd say something, anything, but he just sighed and muttered, "Your mother has a point." I said, "Dad, I didn't do anything." He shrugged, "You're always emotional, always overreacting." Hannah stood behind him, staring at the floor. I said, "Hannah, do you think I'm ruining everything?" She whispered, "I don't want to be involved." Ethan crossed his arms. "Mom's not wrong." I felt heat rising in my chest. "Why is everything my fault?" My mom laughed bitterly. "Because you make everything about you." I shook my head. "I don't." She said, "You're arguing right now. See, drama." I tried to breathe, but my lungs felt tight. "I just want to understand why you're blaming me for everything," my mom replied. "Because you never listen, because you're always the problem." I whispered, "I'm trying." My dad said, "Trying isn't enough. You drain everyone." I felt myself breaking in real time. "I'm your daughter," I said, my voice shaking. "Why do you talk to me like I'm some stranger ruining your life?" My mom threw her hands up. "Here she goes again, playing the victim." I stepped back, feeling dizzy. "I'm not playing anything. I'm hurting," she scoffed. "You're always hurting. We're tired of it." I looked at Ethan. "Do you really think I'm the reason everything is bad here?" He replied coldly, "You don't make things easier." Something inside me twisted. "I can't believe this," I whispered. My dad said, "You need to control your emotions." I snapped. "Maybe you all need to stop attacking me." He pointed at me. "There, that attitude. That's why your mom is upset." I felt the last piece of hope I'd been holding onto crumble. "You don't see me at all," I said softly. My mom rolled her eyes. "Stop talking like you're oppressed." I pressed my hand to my chest. "You just blamed me for the whole family falling apart," she said, "because it's the truth." I felt tears rising. "How long have you all felt this way?" My dad answered, 4 years. Honestly, my knees almost buckled. "Years," Ethan muttered. "You always act shocked," Hannah whispered. "Please don't cry," my mom added. "Crying won't fix anything." I turned away, unable to hold myself together. My mom's voice followed me, "And don't slam your door. You love causing scenes." I didn't slam anything. I quietly climbed the stairs, each step feeling heavier, like gravity wanted to crush me. When I reached my room, I closed the door gently and whispered, "Why do they hate me?" I sank to the floor, pulling my knees to my chest. My breath came out in broken sobs. "What did I do wrong?" I whispered again and again. Their voices replayed in my mind like a cruel loop. "You're the reason we're falling apart. You create tension. You're always the problem." I pressed my palms to my ears, wishing I could erase their words. I cried until my ribs hurt. When I finally caught my breath, I whispered, "This isn't new. This has always been like this." Every insult, every eye roll, every sigh when I entered a room, I saw it all clearly now. "They trained me to believe I'm the problem," I whispered, and for the first time ever, a new thought surfaced. What if they're wrong about me? It terrified me, it thrilled me. It cracked something open inside my chest. My identity didn't just shake that night, it broke free, and I finally saw the truth. Their cruelty wasn't love. It was control. I woke up the next morning hoping the air in the house would feel lighter. But the moment I stepped into the hallway, my mom said, "Try not to start anything today, Kola." I blinked. "I'm not starting anything," she sighed. Loudly, "See, sensitive." My dad passed behind her and muttered, "She always takes things the wrong way." I said, "I'm just responding." He turned to me. "Exactly. Everything becomes a debate with you." Hannah peeked around the corner and said, "Maybe just don't react." Ethan smirked. "She can't. It's her entire personality." I whispered, "Why are you all doing this?" My mom replied, "Doing what? You twist everything we say." I felt my stomach sink. "I'm not twisting anything." My dad said, "Then stop being so dramatic." I walked to the kitchen, trying to breathe. "I'm just trying to exist in this house." My mom gestured around the room. "Then stop making everyone uncomfortable." I could feel my eyes burning. "I don't make anyone uncomfortable." Ethan laughed under his breath. "Here she goes." Hannah whispered, "Kola, stop. You're escalating it." I felt like I was losing my mind. "I'm not escalating anything. I'm responding to what you're saying," my dad muttered. "Always has to have the last word." I finally snapped, "No, I just..." But he cut me off. "Enough." I shut my mouth. The silence tasted thick and sour. Days passed like that. Every sentence I spoke was wrong. Every step I took was loud. Every emotion I felt was too much. My mom told me 3 times that week. You're too sensitive, my dad repeated. You misunderstand everything. Hannah parroted whatever they said. Ethan mocked the way I talked. The way I breathed, the way I existed. I felt smaller. Every day, I started avoiding everyone. I hid in my room. I sketched. I listened to music. I tried to disappear without physically leaving. But the breaking point came on a Tuesday afternoon. I walked past my parents' room and heard my dad say, "She'll never become anything." My mom replied, "Exactly, sending her to college would be a waste." My breath caught. I stepped closer. My dad continued, "She's too emotional for the real world." My mom added, "She'd fall apart in 5 minutes." I covered my mouth to stop myself from gasping. They weren't talking about my mistakes. They were talking about my future like it was garbage. I stepped into the doorway and whispered, "Is that really how you see me?" They both jumped. My mom said, "Why are you eavesdropping?" I said, "I wasn't, I just heard you." My dad rolled his eyes. Out of context. I'm sure. I shook my head. There was no context to misunderstand. You said I'd never become anything. My mom groaned. Here comes the drama. I felt tears stinging. Just tell me the truth. Do you actually think I'm worthless? My dad pointed at me. Stop twisting our words. I shouted, "I'm not twisting anything. I heard you." Hannah rushed in. What's happening? Ethan followed. Is she crying again? My mom snapped. See what you started. I whispered, I didn't start anything. I'm just hurt. My dad threw up his hands. You're always hurt. We're exhausted. Something inside me cracked wide open. So everything really is my fault. My mom scoffed. If the shoe fits, Ethan snickered, it fits. Hannah whispered, maybe just calm down. Cola. I stared at all of them, feeling something shift inside my chest. You don't love me? I whispered. My dad said, don't be ridiculous. My mom added, stop acting like a victim. I shook my head slowly. Victims don't walk into the fire. They're pushed. My dad took a step toward me. Watch your tone. But I was done. I can't stay here anymore. My mom barked a laugh. Where would you even go? I answered. Anywhere but here. I ran upstairs, grabbed a backpack, and stuffed clothes into it with shaking hands. My phone slipped once from how badly I trembled. I dialed Elena. She answered immediately. Cola. What happened? I sobbed. They said I'll never become anything. She whispered, come stay with me. I choked. Are you sure? She said gently. Yes, you deserve a life that doesn't hurt. Those words wrapped around me like air after drowning. I whispered, I'm leaving tonight, and for the first time, the fear didn't stop me, it fueled me. Elena gripped the steering wheel as we crossed the state line and said, 3,000 miles, Cola. You sure you're ready for this? I stared out the window at the endless road and whispered, ready isn't the word, I just know I can't go back. She nodded, good. Then we keep driving. I watched the sky fade from orange to dark blue. Do you think I'm doing the right thing? She glanced at me. Yes, leaving people who hurt you is always the right thing. I swallowed hard. It feels unreal. Like I'm running from a ghost. Elena said, not a ghost. A whole house full of people who never saw you. I laughed weakly. Wow. Harsh but true. She smiled. You deserve a life where your name isn't followed by a sigh. I whispered, I've never had that. She said softly, you will. When we reached Los Angeles, the city lights felt louder than my thoughts. Elena parked and said, welcome home, even if it's temporary. I stepped out and breathed in the unfamiliar air. It smells like freedom, she nudged me, or pollution. I laughed for the first time in days. Her distant relatives greeted us with warm smiles. You two must be exhausted, her aunt said. I whispered, thank you for letting me stay. She patted my hand. Everyone deserves a restart. That sentence stayed in my chest like a spark. The next morning, Elena handed me a slip of paper. Job openings. You're applying. I blinked. Already? She said, if you wait too long, your old life will try to chase you. I sighed. Fine, help me pick something. We circled a cafe. I whispered, this one seems safe. She smirked. Safe is good right now. At the interview, Chloe smiled warmly. Tell me about yourself, Cola. My throat tightened. I'm just looking for a fresh start. She nodded. Aren't we all? Can you work mornings? I answered, yes, I can do whatever you need. She tilted her head. You seem nervous. I whispered, I've never been treated gently during things like this. She said, then let me be the first. When I walked out, Elena asked, how'd it go? I said, she was kind. I don't know how to handle that. Elena laughed. Get used to it. When Chloe called later and said, you're hired, I nearly dropped my phone. Are you serious? She said, of course, see you Monday. I ran to Elena shouting, I got it. She hugged me. I told you new life My first day, I spilled a cup before I even learned the register. Sorry, I muttered. Chloe touched my arm gently. You're okay, mistakes mean you're trying. Those words almost made me cry. Then I met Mason, who said don't worry, I messed up way worse on my first day. I laughed nervously. I doubt that. He winked. I promise, I once blended a spoon. I snorted. A spoon, he shrugged. It was a dark time. His humor eased something tight inside me. During break he said, you look like someone waiting to be yelled at. I stared at him. Is it that obvious? He nodded gently. Yeah, but not in a bad way. Just like you expect. Pain. I whispered. Pain was the norm. He replied, well, not here. We build each other up. I looked down. I don't know how to exist like that. He said softly, then learn. I'll help. Something warm flickered in my chest. Nights in my tiny studio were the hardest. I'd sit on my mattress and whisper. Why do their words still hurt? Sometimes I cried so quietly even I barely heard it. Other nights I lay awake wondering if leaving was a mistake. But mornings made the doubt fade. Chloe would say, good morning, superstar, and I'd blush. Mason would grin and ask, ready to conquer the day? And for once, I'd almost believe him. Elena asked one evening, how do you feel now? I whispered, lighter still. Scared but lighter, she smiled, that's healing. Each day in LA felt like a slow sunrise inside me. For the first time, I wasn't a burden. I was a person, someone worth saving, someone becoming real. I was wiping down the cafe counter when my phone buzzed with Hannah's name. My stomach tightened. I hadn't heard from her in months. I answered cautiously, Hannah? What's going on? Her voice trembled. Cola, Dad lost his job. It was sudden. Everything's falling apart. I didn't speak. She continued. Mom's been crying for days. She keeps saying she can't handle anything anymore. I whispered, why are you telling me this? She hesitated, because they want you to come home. I felt something inside me go still. Come home for what? Hannah exhaled shakily. For support. Just for a little while. I leaned against the counter. Support from me? She whispered. Yes, they think you should be here. I almost laughed. Where was their support when I needed it? Hannah went quiet. After a moment she said softly, I know, and I'm sorry. I didn't understand then. I whispered. Do you understand now? She said, yes, more than you think. My chest tightened, but not with pain, more like clarity. Hannah, I said gently. They aren't calling me because they miss me. They're calling because they want something. She didn't argue. That silence told me everything. Later that night my phone rang again. This time it was my mom. I stared at the screen before answering. Hello. Her voice was sharp, brittle. So you heard what happened? I said. Hannah told me. My mom clicked her tongue. Then you know we need you home. I replied. Why? She snapped. Because your family is struggling. Isn't that obvious? I felt a strange calm settle over me. You didn't care when I was struggling. She sighed angrily. Cola, stop bringing up the past. This is serious, I whispered. It was serious when you blamed me for everything. She ignored that. Will you come home or not? I closed my eyes. No, I'm not coming back. The silence that followed sounded like a building collapsing. Then her voice rose. Excuse me? I repeated. I'm not coming back. She sputtered. So you're abandoning us, after everything we did for you? My throat tightened, but I held steady. You didn't do things for me, you controlled me. You blamed me, and now you want me there because you think I'm useful. She snapped. Listen to yourself. You sound selfish. I whispered. For once in my life, I'm choosing me. She inhaled sharply. You'll regret this. I shook my head even though she couldn't see it. I already regretted staying. As long as I did. She growled, unbelievable, and hung up. I sat on my bed, stunned by how calm I felt. Months ago that conversation would have destroyed me. Now it felt like closing the last door I ever needed to close. Elena walked in and asked, you okay? I nodded slowly. Yeah. I told them no. She smiled softly. That's power. Cola, I whispered. It feels like freedom. A week later, I cleaned my little studio apartment and stood in the doorway, looking at the sunlight spilling across my bed, my plants, my tiny desk. I whispered, this is mine. I built this. I took a picture, me smiling, my apartment glowing behind me. Elena said, post it, show the world how far you've come. I hesitated. Should I? She nudged me. Yes, not for them, for you. So I posted it with the caption, my new beginning. My phone buzzed minutes later. A comment from my dad. Proud of you, Cola. I stared at the screen, my chest tightening, not with hope, but with understanding. He was proud of the version of me who no longer needed him, the version he never helped shape. I whispered, you don't get to claim this. Mason walked by and asked, everything okay? I smiled. Everything's finally okay. I set my phone down and looked around my space again. I wasn't the girl they blamed. I wasn't the problem they built in their heads. Leaving didn't break me, it rebuilt me. For the first time in my life, I wasn't waiting for their approval. I wasn't surviving their storms. I was living my own life, whole.